there is so much content out there. There's many different forms, there's many different formats, and especially so many different people doing those. Well, you know that if you want to be at the world stage, if you want to have connection to your fans, to your people, to your listeners, you kind of have to be connected with them, right? We've talked about this. In the modern age, you need connection. So what's the right type of connection for you? How do you want to connect, and what is maybe the platform or the type of content that is best suited to you? Well, today, in this episode, we're diving right into all the different types that there are out there, and just what are the upsides and the downsides of those, so you can figure out what's the one thing that will make or break your career. Hello and welcome to the Artful Maestro podcast. I am your host, Nenad Leonard, a harpsichordist and historical organist who has been doing this for over 5 years, accumulated over 70,000 subscribers across different platforms, and I'm having a very happy, fulfilled life as a musician. Now, I've seen that so many of my colleagues have been struggling, and they have been asking me questions. How do you do that? How can I do this? And so on. So I've started helping out, and I've seen that classical musicians are really in need of updating our knowledge, of, growing with the world. Everything's rapidly changing. So I created Artful Maestro. This is the podcast. I also coach, I help, I train people just so we can adapt to these new times and that we can all thrive as classical musicians. I believe in a world where everybody listens to classical music, like everybody knows what it is, everybody enjoys listening to it, and if we want to have that, because like right now we're at below 1% of listeners around the world, in the countries that are actually listening to classical music. And there's some where it's not even a thing, right? So if we want to do this, we need to understand how technology works. We need to understand how people work, how people think, what they want, what they like. And also we need to better how we do things. We need to make everything better. Like we need to do better recordings. We need to do better playing, we need to do better communication. You think, how it's even going to get better? Like we're already at the peak, or there are like these amazing people in the past that have been at the peak. Believe me, everything's changing so fast. We have many more methods and techniques that have not been available in the past. So let's go and in today's episode talk about what is it actually that you want to find yourself in content creation. Because again, when you want to talk with your audience, when you want to connect to anybody, you will have to find how exactly to communicate with them. Like, what is your style? What is your method? What is a thing that you feel comfortable in, but that also provides the most value or is the most true to your kind of personality style? We'll talk about why that is important. We'll talk about how you will find it, and we'll also talk about all the different types of content that are out there that you can actually use and just to get in touch with them. Because again, most people kind of grew up and they've heard about this or they've heard about that, but they've never actually understood that this can be used in a professional way. So let us go and dive right into it. But before we do that, one quick reminder that this podcast is kind of being sponsored by the Artful Shop, but actually it's like done by me as well. So if you want to support this podcast, just go ahead and grab something on the Artful Shop. Like we have mugs there, we have t-shirt, all kind of merchandise that is kind of supportive of this podcast. So all the earnings go into allowing the creation of this thing. Go ahead there, and if you, when you pick out your items at checkout, when you write in the code Artful5, which is like a discount code, you actually get 5% off your whole order. So thanks for supporting this podcast. Thanks you for supporting this whole project where we bring the knowledge to classical musicians worldwide so that we all can be in a world where classical music actually thrives. Okay, let's go with why it's important to create content. I just scratched on it at the surface, and we'll keep this really, really brief. If you want to have an audience in the modern world, and I'm talking about today, I'm talking about the last couple of years, but also the years to come, you've probably seen a shift from this 20th century thinking of, oh, we have a couple of heroes, right? And everybody's listening to them, and everybody's like having this God complex, right? So you have just a few people that are like the most famous, and the rest can the rest is not important. Well, this changed a lot. This changed a lot, especially through how we communicate today, like with the internet and with the social media. Suddenly people had the possibility to not rely on marketing companies. Like, you didn't have to have a label, you didn't have to have a representative or like this huge agency behind you, because they were doing the advertising and the marketing. That was expensive. So when you look back 50 years, there was just a handful of people who could afford to have a sustainable career because people earned just so much, right? And then you could have that amount of money that you just so much could put into advertising to get to more people. And today it's much easier because anybody can write something on the internet and it's accessible by everybody else for free. Anybody can post something on social media, and like, if it's good, it's going to be shared for free by others. So you kind of don't have to put in a lot of advertisement investing, right? Like the money, you don't need money. You can be reaching people for free everywhere, all around the world. And that's the good side, right? So if you create something that is going to be shareable, right? That people say, wow, this is so valuable. Hey, look at this guy doing that, right? And then they share it. You can see that behavior with yourself, like what kind of videos you share. It's usually something special, something that hasn't been done before, and something that spoke to you. Maybe it was funny, maybe it was meaningful. Either way, if you are able to create such content, you are going to have a great time because everybody's going to share it for free. That's the upside. The downside is people figure this out, so they have started doing it, and it's becoming harder and harder to do. Both on the side of the creators, because they are investing more and more effort into creating really, really viral videos, but also on the side of the consumer, because the consumers are now kind of used to having this high production value stuff, even for YouTube videos, even for like social media. Many people invest a lot of money into that. And so we are spoiled when we're looking at short form content, when we're looking at all these things. We are kind of really spoiled because the quality is going just higher and higher. So what does that mean for you as a creator? I think it means that you really need to value ideas over anything else. Because let's be real, nobody of us is like Mr. Beast and can afford a full-blown production system and have a producer and have everybody else like talking what you should do, what not, how to analyze all that stuff. I think that we all need to do that ourselves. However, if we are able to kind of find the sweet spot in between what people want, what we are talented and good at, and how that connects through the right medium, that is kind of like a winning proposition. Like, that's how you make it in the modern world. So the whole game has changed, and you see less and less like of these classical music superstars, and you see more and more of just like everybody. And so you have like so many sub niches that are going on. And this is why you want to do that. Like you want to just establish your sub niche and be a person in there. You want to be there and you want to thrive, right? So let's look at this from another perspective. If we say 50 years down the road, we have no idea what's going to happen there. But surely nobody who is waiting right now to get discovered by like a label or by an agency, nobody of these people will have had a good career, like have had a career at all. If you look at the artists, like the young artists that are now being signed by the major labels, these are already artists that have made it in their field. They have already built a whole fan base. They have already built like their artistic persona, what they like, how they connect to their audience. So they have like the whole career thing going. They have it figured out. And then the label comes and goes like, hey, you know what? Let's sign you. You know, you'll have this and this and this and this benefit in addition to what you're already having. And that's also great for them because then they have someone who is going to share their stuff even more. And it's also prestigious and so on. Just a quick sidetrack here. I've been talking to a couple of my colleagues recently, and there's like this new trend about CDs. You know, you can buy yourself into anything. I don't know if you were aware of that, but if you want to have a CD with Deutsche Grammophon, if you want to like have an album there, you just need to go there. You pay a certain fee. You pick out your audio technician, and then you just record the CD, and then you'll get to have the yellow label. Why? Because for them, they don't earn money with records anymore. The streaming game changed everything. And so records aren't selling, and what are they supposed to do, right? Just die with everyone else? No. So they decided, okay, you know what? We are going to use our prestigious yellow label. So if you want to have that prestigious yellow label, you just have to pay us. And that pays kind of our salaries, right? This is how not just Deutsche Grammophon works, but many labels. Like oftentimes you need to buy in if you want to have anything being published. And that is the next question what I talk to my friends about, like why would you even want to go to a label? Because for $30 you can be posting your own music online and have it on all the streaming platforms. So why would you go to a label? Why would you pay them thousands and thousands and thousands? Because this is not cheap, right? Why would you do that if you can do it yourself? And this is something to consider. Again, like if you are already successful in what you do and the label approaches you and go like, hey, would you like to work with us? So they benefit out of your popularity because they'll earn more money, but then they also can help you up your game to the next level. But if you are just even starting out, and I have seen this happen quite a few times. If you're just starting out and you want to go to like a big label and then you just buy yourself into it, then you have a record with them, but you have nothing else because they are not going to care about you. They are not going to, promote you in a meaningful way. So you're just going to be a nobody still that doesn't have any kind of tools for how to manage their career, and you will have like a great CD with a yellow label on that nobody's gonna buy because nobody cares. So do not fall into this trap. What you actually want to do is understand how the music business works. how any kind of business works. And from there, to understand why you need content, and from there, to understand how to create that kind of content that resonates with your audience. So let's go. How does a business work? How does music work? The music industry, anything. It always works with money. Money is like the bread and butter of everything that's going on, right? Many people don't want to say this, many people don't want to think it, but it's not even actually money. It's just like the exchange of value, okay? Because there's many different types of value, but we can call it money right now, okay? If you are not earning any money, you cannot have like a life, because you're not able to afford your rent, you're not able to afford your cost of living, getting food, getting like your basic needs met. So you need to have those first. And once you have those first, I mean, that means that you're already having some income from somewhere. But on top of that, then you will have to be investing in yourself, you will have to be investing in your business, in your career, in whatnot. So there's like a whole budget that you will want to have to do at the beginning. Like, this is the amount of how much it's going to cost me to reach where I want to go. And then once you have the budget, this is how a business works. This is how music industry works, everything. How do I cover that budget? And the solution is so simple that many people actually forget it. The only thing that matters, if you want to have like your basic needs covered, to get to your goal, is to have money coming in. You just need a stream of cash flow to cover all these expenses that you need to get covered to get to where you want to go. Sounds easy, right? If it's that easy, why is nobody doing it? So many people either start just doing cash flow but give up on their dreams, or they're trying to reach their dreams but it kind of doesn't work out with the cash flow, and then they start putting in their savings into it, and they're like private earnings and everything, so it gets like to be a real mess, and they get into debt and they feel bad, and it's just really messy, okay? And everything is then being rationalized that, well, you know, I love doing this, or it's so important, or there's no money in the culture industry. Well, yeah, it's true. It is hard and there's no money, but you need to figure out a way for you, so be smart. You need to figure out a way how to keep the money coming in. And the basic equation, because I've said money is a type of value, if you want to have money coming in, you need to offer a certain different kind of value. So something that people buy, quote unquote, or you just exchange that kind of value so they give something back to you in return. That's the basic principle. And if you look at it like teaching, okay, I give teaching, I give tips, I help them, they give money to me. If you go like playing a concert, I give them a good time, you can say I entertain them, or I create beautiful art that they enjoy, and they give me money for that. And you also know that there's like different types of value, so not everything is worth the same. And sometimes, let's say if you teach them, I don't know, let's say basic math as like a substitute teacher or something, I don't know, it's just like helping them out after school, you know, like the jobs that I and others did like in high school, just help out other kids with their homework. You do not earn a lot there, maybe a couple bucks per hour. But if you're teaching music after all your studies, after all the degrees that you have, and it's like really professional, you can charge higher prices for that. Now, you cannot charge the highest because there's maybe 100 other teachers doing the same, so they kind of lower your price. But if you get to be really unique in a certain field, you get to up your price more and more and more. Why? Because it's more valuable, because nobody else is doing it. And if you're the only person that is able to do that, well then, you see where this is going? The more unique it is what you are providing, the more value you provide and the more value you can get in return. So that is something that is to be considered. When you are going to earn something, try to earn maybe not necessarily as much as possible in the beginning, but something that will make you as unique as possible and also be helping you in covering your basic needs and all the budget so that you can go and reach your goals. And once you start doing that and understand, okay, so I have a stream of money coming in and I am at the same time providing value outside, then you understand, okay, I need other people to have money coming in. I cannot do this on myself. Like you cannot go into your basement and just create money out of nowhere. There are basements in this world where money is created out of nowhere. I am sure about that. But you don't want to do that, right? You are actually creating money in your bank account through working with other people and providing something to them. So in order to be able to reach these people, in order to be able to have contact with them, to be of value to them, this is where in the modern day and age, content comes in. That is where you want to be producing content, creating content, because that is ultimately, we can call that marketing. It is kind of having you and your skill set, like who you are and what you do, and then you take that and create like a package that people can understand, right? That you can tell them in 2 minutes when you meet them who you are, what you're about, what your strengths are, like everything important about you, like what's your value to the world. And then you just take this and you kind of put it on the market, right? So everybody that is just passing by, you can imagine like this market somewhere in the city, and then everybody who's just walking by, they can look at it and say, oh, this guy is doing this, or she is the expert for that, or oh, look at this. I didn't even know this existed, but that's pretty cool. And once you do this, like once you create your package and put it on the market, you will understand that you need to reach people so they can understand who you are. Like if you put yourself on the market, but there's nobody walking by, they're still not going to see you, even if that what you're doing is really, really valuable. So you need to do it in a way where you get to reach more and more and more people. And again, going back to the beginning, that is why internet is so strong and social media and everything, because you get automatic free reshares if people like what you're doing. And you get to be kind of known everywhere. So why don't you, like when you have created this package, and this is also what I work, when somebody works with me, like what we do one-on-one, we call this the artist identity. Like we create this package based on not what they feel like doing, but based on what people want, what people have needs for, what people are excited about, what people are feeling touched by, what kind of art do they like? What kind of, and this has a lot to do with personality. It has a lot to do with who you are, how you communicate, like what's your specific strength, your charisma, like everything. And you maybe fit very well into one musical style, but the other is not necessarily your strength, right? And so we create like this package, and then you learn, once you have the package, how to display that package to other people so they go like, damn, this is cool. I want that. I like that. I enjoy that. Because once you start doing that, everything is open ahead of you. You can just go step by step by step by step, and you have people who take value from you because they appreciate your value, they appreciate what you're offering, and you can get value from them in return. Be it in possibilities to have more concerts, like if they're organizing something for you, if they're providing you with some other kind of value, like monetary value, just paying it directly into your bank account. Be it as it may, once you have the package and you start selling, here it is, selling the package, you're actually just putting it on the market. You're not selling anything. Selling you can do at a certain point when you have like certain products, certain things, but like marketing, you market yourself. Selling, you market your different products, like a concert, like your teaching, like whatever it is, to a specific person. That would be selling. But the market is, and here's where content comes in, right? Because content is going to be the connection between your artist identity and the value coming in from other people. Like from the package to the money coming in, content is in between. Because content helps you reach those people, content helps you create trust, create a relationship with them, and ultimately it helps you fill your bank account so that you have actually your budget covered. And this is where we are right now. So let's talk about different types of content, what these are, now that you know like why it's important and how it's kind of created. So if you are marketing your package, like who you are, what you do, you have so many different possibilities today, and most of them that are kind of going to be very impactful and for free, they are on the internet. However, the probably most impactful one, it is still outside of internet, and that is just plain old networking. When you are somewhere and you see a person face to face, be it at a conference or at a dinner party or whatever it is, when you see them and you approach them, you have a genuine connection, like you see how you connect with one another. That's going to be great because you have just established a solid connection to someone who is going to trust you from the get-go way more than having met you at any different circumstance, especially on the internet. So when you meet them face to face and you even have a common friend that introduces you to each other, now you even have the trust of the friend. So this can't get better for you. It's so important. It's so important. And here you have already somebody vouching for you, for your package, right? And then you have somebody opposite who is also like, you get to learn of their package and you get to connect. So it's not necessarily a type of content, but it still goes into this direction. And this is what I call networking. And it's still, even in this online world, or maybe especially because we live in the online world, you don't know anybody online. Like you can't really trust somebody that you know not, right? If you see them person to person, you can feel them, like you get this gut level response. Oh, are they being authentic? Are they being real? Are they being who they say they are? And then you have this response and then you trust them. But if you see them like online, there's this insecurity. There's also like some people scamming online, whatever. It's just not the same. It's harder to have somebody trust you online than in real life. And that's why I still think real life encounters are super important, even if it comes to content. And like the type of content is learn how to do small talk, learn how to listen carefully, learn how to be of value to them, learn how to, just be a good person and be around others and be entertaining, be attractive, be all that kind of stuff. It's something that can be learned. And I suggest that you really start training your social skills. And that is going to be one type of content that is always going to work. So this is a must. This is a must. And now let's look at the other types of content where we have short form content online, where we have long form content, where we have maybe blogs, maybe websites, maybe all different kinds of projects that you can be putting out there. You can have albums, you can have single recordings, you can have all different things. You can publish books. I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff that you can do out there. So let's look at it directly. Long form content is probably one of the strongest that you can do, because this means that people are investing huge chunks of their time into communicating with you. I mean, it's kind of a one-sided communication, right? But still, like long form content, it's like, I don't know, you can tell it's 5 minutes plus or 10 minutes plus. What would be long form content? It would be YouTube videos, it would be podcasts, it would be interviews, it would be explanation videos, it would be educational, either recordings or videos or whatever. So that's like something that takes a longer while. And usually people start listening to that either if they're looking for something very specific. So if you're covering a very specific area that let's say nobody else is covering on YouTube, and you have people searching for that, that is a very good place to be. That is a very good place to have, okay, people are looking for this, so let me give them what they are looking for. And this is how you establish long-form content, like one strategy. Provide something that nobody else providing there, which is really specific. The other type of long-form content, which could be also live streams, by the way, there's a lot of game live streamers. The other type of long-form content is more like of a, let's say, entertaining nature, but there's also a lot of trust involved in that. So it's like your personality that's being marketed in there. It's just you creating any type of content, but people aren't there because of the content that you're doing per se. They aren't there because they want to learn that specific thing that you're covering, but more they are there because of you. They are there because they like you, or they admire you, or maybe they think that all the things that you do and all the things that you think about, that they're pretty cool and they want to do those themselves or just be part of that world. Maybe like you're part of a very, I don't know, exciting ensemble or something like that. Like you have this kind of being an example for other people, and then they like it and they just want to hang out with you regardless of what you're doing. And they just like you for who you are. And that's the other type of long-form content that is also very, very strong. And here you can actually, it's almost kind of like a mentorship. You can actually shape people's lives and their perceptions and their mindsets through your being. So again, both these strategies, like the very specific type of content or the focus on your person and your world, your mindset, your everything that you're just giving away, both have a lot of responsibility behind them because you influence very many people with it. On one hand, with very specific facts around something, and on the other hand, just with who you are as a person, right? And so I think that's really important to understand, that you want to be the best version of yourself, like the absolute best version that you can be in order for long-form content for you to succeed. Now let's look at short form. Short form is very, very different from long form because short form, it lives like on TikTok, Instagram, Reels, all that kind of things. And what you want to do there is grab the attention of people, do something that's probably unexpected, that's funny, that's entertaining, like something that's really, really gonna grab them, right? And kind of make their day a little better, or maybe distract them from the gray of everyday life, or just, give them little chunks of value of something that they think, oh, I didn't know that, or again, that's pretty funny. There's many different types of short form content that you can do. As you see, like there's trends, there's challenges, there's like different kind of putting music underneath videos, or doing dances or whatever. This is not as interesting for us as classical musicians unless you are specifically looking to build an audience with these types of people. Again, like I also see a lot of social media, very successful social media in classical music that are only doing funny stuff, that are only doing memes, that are only doing entertainment. And while that is pretty shareable, like you get to have a laugh, you get to be funny for a while, you get to have your day brighten up a little bit, there's a huge discrepancy because you don't build trust with these people. Like it's just funny, but you don't necessarily trust them. There's maybe even like a taste of, oh, I don't even know what kind of musician they are. Maybe they're not as skilled. Like, why are they turning to humor? That's a common one that people, especially in the classical music field, think about. Like, why are they doing this? And most of the time, they aren't even being authentic when they do it. So think about that. You're not being authentic. You are doing social media to entertain others, and you do that through humor. Although you kind of pair it with classical music, it's going to alienate a lot of people who can make your career because they don't find you trustworthy or just up to the task. So if you're looking to perform, maybe being humorous is not the best thing for you. If you're just looking to make numbers online, if you're looking to grow fast as a profile, being funny and like really, really funny in any kind of specific field, that's going to be great. Like you are going to explode with numbers. And I already hear you going in the back of your mind like, oh, okay, so I could do that in the beginning. I could be really funny. And then later I can start being serious. It just doesn't work like that. The audience is going to notice it. The algorithm is going to notice it. And you will be severely punished if you try to do something like that. So before you even go in the social media field, you need to know who you are, what you want to do, and how you are going to do it. And this is why we're doing this episode. Like, what kind of content is the right content for you? And I always preach, be authentic. Like, do the thing that's right for you, because ultimately that is going to be, even if it's hard in the beginning, that is going to be what will put you to your goals the fastest, even if it feels like it's going to take forever. So other types of short form content, it could be, when it's not humorous, it could be value packages of, hey, look at this work that nobody knows. It could be creating anecdotes that are kind of entertaining stories, but they are serious entertaining stories. Like they're not especially funny or like a gag or putting you in a compromised position, but this is actually, let's call it just historical research or some fun facts. You could do educational content, or you could do also collaborations with others, and that is opening up like a lot of different things that you can do with collaborations. Okay, I'm not going to go more into detail because let's finish this. let's finish this so you just have like an overview of what can be done. And the next thing of content that you can create, that's kind of written content. And I will put these together because also here you can have like long form content and short form content. So short form written content, I would call like the email newsletters or like very short documents that you create as, again, something valuable for your audience or for your customers or whomever. So on one hand, you have email newsletters, and this is what you want to have like also to market yourself, just to remind them over and over that you exist. So it's not like open like social media where everybody can react and it's public and everything, but with the email newsletter, you can get really personal. And you can filter through your audience. Like once you have learned how to really do email newsletters well, then you know, okay, this is a part of my audience that likes more, let's say, this type of music. And this is another part of my audience that prefers something else instead, like they're maybe more cultural focused. So you would go and create maybe 2 different newsletters, and the ones that are more music focused, you send them the music video, and the ones that are like more culturally interested, you send them like a whole background story about why you did this or how you recorded that, and so on. So with the short form, again, short form is newsletter. With that short form written content, you can kind of be very personal and get on a very friendly level with people. Now, in today's marketing, also, you will figure out that this is a must. Like also what I told you about in the beginning. Networking, social skills, that's a must. A newsletter, talking directly to people and reminding them that you exist in the first place. It's either having the social media that reminds them every day, or it's having your email newsletter that is reminding them every day. So make sure to have this with you. Learn how to do newsletters, learn how to write, get some training if you need to, but that is going to be very important for you. And then you have some long form content that's written, and that can be ebooks that you create online. That can be ebooks that you've published on a specific topic, that can be some research that you've done, or it could be also blog posts. You can start writing your own blog, describing your journey or describing like a specific type of content. And again, like with blog posts, it's like with the long form that we talked about with the videos, right? On one hand, you can do long form that is persona related. So everything that you do and people just like you for who you are, they're going to enjoy that. And if it's about a specific type of content, then just provide them with those specific details. So like kind of the expert in that area, and they just come because you're the expert. And then you also get to be indexed by search engines. So whenever somebody Googles something, they will get to go to your website, and they also can meet you like on the web, right? And this is also something that is to be considered. Now, there's a third type of content. So it's not just like social media and videos, and it's not like just written kind of content, but that's the so-called community content. And this has become big in the last few years, where you kind of create an online community where there's a lot of people in there. There's a lot of people in the community, and you kind of just get to hang out with them, you get to interact with them, and you get to understand them. And you get to provide direct value because you're in direct contact. So this could be live streams, right? This could be, again, Twitch, gaming, or doing anything else. Like there's even musicians on Twitch that are having hundreds of people just watching them, doing requests, and so on. And they just get to hang out with each other. That's pretty cool. So you can do that on Twitch, but you can also go to Discord, for example. You can also go to what's the other names of these platforms? I mean, there's also like the written type of communities, which would be like school, which would be like also Facebook groups and so on. So you have so many different possibilities. I use, for example, Go High Level Groups, which is like a software that built everything into it. It's all pretty cool. And you get to have like interactions, but also you need to be the type for that. And it's pretty hard to like really create an engaged group and have people contributing and so on. That's a lot of work. So it also seems to be a little bit the future, like connecting like-minded people to each other. So it's definitely worth checking out. However, it is still very fresh. So there's not like the best practices, awesome strategies that can be actually applied so that I can give you the gold here. You know what I mean? And there's also like we had in the beginning, like the networking, right? The social skills. And you can also do like the networking and the social skills in the online world as well, where you have like these kind of messenger type of apps, which would be, it's not necessarily Messenger, but like Twitter or X as it is right now. You can have LinkedIn, you can have Threads. And this is more, I would say, connection-based, so that you can really talk directly and have short messages, like speak a lot. So this is a very easy way to, let's say, let people know about your mindsets or what you are up to or what's happening. And so it is kind of like the platforms, they are kind of like social media, right? And at the same time, they're really geared towards exchange of information and exchange of networking. So it's not as much entertainment as is the other ones. And I've not seen very many musicians be successful with this. Everybody from the business world is interested in that. But maybe that changes. Like maybe there's, and even if you are a musician who has, I don't know, leveraged LinkedIn to extreme highs, please do let me know. Like I would love to talk to you about that, because I don't know anyone who was able to do that up until now. I know that people tried, but again, we try a lot, we experiment, we see how it goes. Same goes for X or for Threads. Like I know that people are active there, but it's not really, really big in the music field. So to recap, we have had today why content is important, like why you want to do it in the first place, to put yourself on the market. And then that is kind of the bridge in between you and your audience. And if you don't do that bridge, like there's not going to be an exchange of value, because nobody's going to see your value and nobody's going to be reached by you. Now, when you are doing content, you can get really creative with it, and you can decide what type of content you want to do as your main content. So it can be short form, long form, can be social media, videos, it can be written type of stuff. There's a lot of combinations. And even inside of these combinations, you have a lot of different platforms, and you want to choose like one platform that especially speaks to you or that you think is valuable, and so on. That's what we've covered today. And one last thing I want to give you on your way is about these platforms. Like when you decide to, when you have done your package, like you know what you are going to put on the market, and then you decide, maybe you experiment a little bit, what kind of content you want to create and what you feel comfortable with. Decide which type of content is going to be. Like, am I going to focus on long form? Am I going to focus on short form? Don't do everything at the same time. It's just not going to work. Put your priority and say, let's do, I don't know, long form videos. That's what I want to do. And put your focus on long form videos. And then, again, choose like one platform. In all of these, choose one platform. I just remembered there's also Reddit for communities. Just choose one platform and stick with it and learn that platform and learn how that content works. If you try to do too much at the same time, it's not going to work. I have tried it myself. It didn't work. I have seen it, other people try it, it's just not going to work. Once you have figured out one place, then you can go ahead and start figuring out the others. But like this, do not attempt, okay? Great that we've covered that. So, focus on one thing. Once you have figured out, once you have know your package, you've done your experiments, and you know where you want to go, focus on there and then grow from there. And never get discouraged. Like, why it doesn't work for people is because they give up. Like, everybody who has made it today with their kind of content where they are right now, you can ask them. The main reason is going to be they're going to tell you, I never gave up. Even if it became hard, even if it became exceptionally unfun to do, I just kept with it. And you'll see with all the people that didn't make it, they gave up at some point. So once that you know that this is what you want to do, and once that you know that this is the path for you, stay at it. Stay at it, keep at it, don't give up. And here's the last piece of advice. If you want to really have like some kind of accountability group, support group to know that you are on your way, I have created a community, especially for classical musicians who are working on their careers and that you can join as well. And that is the Artful Maestro Inner Circle. If you haven't heard about it before, here's what it is. It's a bunch of young classical musicians who are inspired and excited to work on their career and to make something happen. And I've created this group so they can come together, they can talk together, exchange ideas, get accountability, say like, okay, I want to work on my short form content in the next 90 days. And I'm going to post a video every day here inside. And if I don't, I don't know, I have to pay $10 to a political party I don't really like. So make something fun that hurts a little bit. And, that kind of accountability. Or you can do fun stuff like exchanging feedback with people. Like say, hey, I created this content. Who else is creating content? And let's give it feedback to each other, or what we've learned, or what kind of material we're using, or how we do it. So it's a great place to have all the resources that you want to have. And I really want this group to grow. I want it to become like a worldwide support group for classical musicians who are growing. So if that is you, just go ahead, apply for it, find the link down below, and become part of it. Having said that, I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode about all different types of content and why it's important. And I am so glad to have you on this podcast, have you here with me. I really, really am excited for the future to come. Wish you a good time and see you in the next episode.